Reformation Council, we heed the words of the Vicar of Christ, who said, I quote, I prefer a church which is bruised, hurting, and dirty because it has been on the streets, rather than a church which is a different regime with another face, but still of the same crop of oligarchs, will be no improvement for the country, but decline into more acute desolation. The NTC united itself in the so-called 222 coalition movement to the call for the government stepping down, but the said movement was not NTC. This long-planned assembly in Lipa is most demonstrative of the rationale of the NTC. At the center of this gathering and prominent is the role of the poor, the marginalized, the neglected. NTC decides to live up to Jesus' call and Pope Francis' call for mercy and compassion. Pope Francis' warnings and counsels guide NTC. Quote, there is a word of compassion which is useless. It is a compassion which teaches us to put our hand into the pocket and give something to someone. If Christ had had that kind of compassion, he would have walked by, greeted the people, given them something, and then moved on. But it is only when Christ cried and was able to cry that he understood what's going on in our lives. In today's world, there is a great lack of knowing how to cry. The marginalized people, weak, those that are left to one side are crying. Those who are discarded are also crying. To learn to be evangelized by the poor, those that we help, the infirm, the orphans, they have so much to offer us. Do you think in the poor? Do you feel with the poor? Do you ask the poor that they might give you the wisdom that they have? Yeah, that is the important citizen named Pope Francis sa UST. Today, here in Lipa, we have hidden the Pope. I realized what the Pope was talking about when I celebrated. Kakayak ako I'm crying. The funeral mass for policeman lover Inocencio, one of the sub-victims of the Mama Sapano massacre. He was only 38 years old. His wife was his sweetheart from his youth. He postponed marriage because he had to support his aging father. I talked with him. And 4 younger brothers. He left a 6-year-old son. I could not say anything. I only cried with the bereaved child, the wife, the brothers, and the father. We listen to the Pope. Pope Francis continues to tell what NTC tries to follow. Quote, the center, the core of the message will be the poor. The poor who want to move forward. The poor who suffer. The poor who have faith and hope. In this commemoration of the 5th centenary of the preaching of the gospel in the Philippines, including the poor who are exploited by those who perpetuate so many social, spiritual, and existential injustices. As we go to the Philippines, I think of them. One kind of quote from the Pope. I also think of what happened on February 23, 1986. We were in the corner of Edson Ortigas, praying the rosary. At a certain point, Joey Lina went up a jeepney and pulled up a surprise cigarette and chiclet vendor. Then through a megaphone, he shouted, "Mabuhay ang Pilipino!" He was raising up the hands of the poor vendor. That gesture moved me to tears, reflected on Mary's Magnificat which says, he has put down the mighty from their thrones and exalted those of low degree. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he has sent empty away. Alas, EDSA 1986 was taken over by the wrong leaders, or fresh leaders who succumbed to the temptation of pleasure, power, and glory, which the enemy of the real EDSA hero, God himself, enticed them into. We are in a state where the poor is again shoved into the sidelines, only to be used for the selfish purposes of evil leaders. I quote this I thank Gregor for this from Isaiah 3. O my people, your leaders mislead you and confuse the course of your paths. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty men in battle. Was that at January 25? O Bayan Ko, niligaw ka ng iyong mga namumuno. Hindi mo maalaman kung saan kayo pupunta. Mamamatay sa tigman ng mga kalalakihan. Mabubuwal sa labanan ng magigiting na kawal. This cannot go on. This must not go on. This is the reason for NTC. What does NTC intend to accomplish? NTC desires a set of leaders who give lasting importance and priority in governance and service to the poor. Already for the last 24 years, the Church in the Philippines has made it one of its top pastoral urgencies the creation and strengthening of the basic Christian communities. This is the answer to the efficient, honest, God-centered governance. This gives stress to the capacity of the poor to rise above their misery by solidarity with one another and renouncing dole-out system of daily sustenance. Like yung tawag doon? CCT. Yeah, conditional cash transfer. The basic Christian community must be centered on the family. As the Pope said, quote, healthy families are essential to the life of a society. That's why we vote against RH. It gives consolation and hope to see many large families that welcome children as a gift of God. They know that every child is a blessing. I have heard it said by some that families with many children and the birth of many children are among the causes of poverty. We can all say that the main cause of poverty is an economic system that has cancelled a person from the center and set money in its place that always excludes children, the elderly, young people, the unemployed, and that creates the throwaway.
Te clamamos, exules Kyrie, a te suspiramos, gementes et fuentes, in lacrimarum ella a Dukha nostra,
Yan o yan eh.
Ako hindi ko alam sa English yan, sa Latin ko na alam.
Et Iesum benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilium ostende. Bishops and priests.
Hindi yata si Kapanya.
Ha?
Hindi si Kapanya.
Patapos na tayo.
The Lord be with you. May the Lord continue to guide you wherever you go. May He give you abundant blessings so that you can share your blessings with others. May arouse in many people the eagerness to serve other people, their brothers and sisters, especially the marginalized, the poor, the abandoned. May God always be with you, entrusting you to the loving protection of the Holy Mother and our friends in heaven. May He make you successful in all you do, and the courageous in the face of trials. May God be with you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
For the final hymn,
Sabay-sabay po tayong aawit ng Bayan Ko. Okay, yun po NTC ay mayroong magkukonvene dun sa conference hall para sa press conference.
Pastor
Yeah.
Bahamas, Archbishop Wells, Father Sugaya, and Sunday, Bishop Villena, and Special Papalia, Bishop Emeritus. First of all, I'd like to thank you for honoring our invitation to Lipa, Assembly of the National Transformation Council. We don't have a prepared statement. Obviously, some issues that we would like to clarify. We'd be happy to respond to the best of our ability. And we can direct the question to Secretary Charles or to any other.
Central Starad, again, the question from Jenny said, we will make to understand that you will be making an important
What is the announcement?
Who announced
I think
that I would be making an important?
Ayaw na daw po niya i-prayer.
lahat po sa assignment namin yun na nakalagay. NPC will be making important announcements. Even sir sa Facebook.
You may want to. It's a draft statement that this is the way the flow. This skip.
Well, our demand for the stepping down of the president and its government, I think it's already been announced several times. I guess that what is being awaited is a more dramatic chain of action that will bring them. What we try to do today is to try to define who among our people will be leading this effort, and we, to follow the teachings of the church, is to really ask our people to be the one. And but what is new there is that we think that to give a new shape to people power. But people power cannot be as spontaneous as before. What we need is for our poor people to have their own organizations. Otherwise, when this is over, there will be some poor, as has happened in the past two efforts to change the direction of our society. So what will really happen these days? I know that what you want to see is really already a push to really seriously try to change the government today. I know that. But I think that today what we are trying to do is to really put some clarification on this matter. That first, there is this assumption that the leaders of our churches will be necessary to bring that about. We need that the bishops, the CDCP, in fact there are certain questions that are being raised in Cebu wherein they're saying that Cardinal Vidal did not understand what he was reading. That's what the local media in Cebu was saying. That is not true. Cardinal Vidal reviewed the statement days before he read it. But what we are trying to say is that what we are trying to ask from our religious leaders is not to lead this revolution. It's not to be in the forefront of this fight. But what we need is a very clear statement that that regime change. But we are also not planning a coup. The armed forces should not lead the fight to change government. What we are trying to clarify today is that the armed forces, if they see that there is that the people are truly asking for regime change, then they must protect and support that. So we have not approached the armed forces to come out in the streets and declare that they are supporting the National Transformation Council. I think there's time for that. But in the meantime, what is important is for us to make sure and to secure that when we ask our poor to join us in our fight, when it comes to rewards, they will not be forgotten. Oftentimes, in the konkretong mekanismo, para pag natapos na yung bakbakan, hindi sila makakalimutan. We had the past of our people. Then we will have a national congress so that we will choose one national leader each for at least what we consider are the poorest sector of our society. One from labor, one from the peasants, one from the urban poor, and one from the fisher folks. I know that there are other sectors whom we think knows the teaching of our faith, and we ask them whether there is moral basis for what the people is about to undertake today. They said yes. There is the statement. It has been repeated in several occasions in many parts of the country. Now we know that we have moral basis, which is very important to us. We also try to establish two things. That in our fight for political change, we must not forget that we are a praying people, that we need spiritual guidance in our activities. Number two, our action should remain peaceful. That is why we do not approve of coup d'etats. We do not approve of armed struggle. What we want is for our people to unite and express their intention for change in our country. And we will do this through the organized masses of our people. You see, many of you probably are either not been born yet or still young to see. But you see, right after people power, President Cory Aquino encouraged the formation of mass movements in the country. Ang nakikita natin ngayon are non-government organizations, but we are not realizing that there were establishment of people's organizations of various important sectors of Philippine society. What we try to announce today is that we will revive all those movements. In the absence of effective structures of organization among our masses, there will be no effective representation of the poor in government. That is why what you will expect from us, I don't know whether in the process of what we are doing, maybe there will be changes in Malacanang. We don't know. They will already give up.